Hey, what's going on, everybody? Coach Williams here. I am super excited to welcome you to this episode of Coach Williams University, where our mission is to transform your life by changing the way that you think. As I already said, my name is Coach Williams, and I am your fearless leader on this transformation journey. Most people think that they can do bad all by themselves, but when you've been severely traumatized, you need somebody to walk you through that trauma. You need a therapist, you need a counselor, you need a coach. That's me. So thank you for listening to this podcast, no matter how old you are. This podcast will transform your life by changing the way that you think. Y'all, I'm super excited to introduce my special guest today. Y'all, I met him a few years ago. We'll get into our story here in a little bit. But y'all do me a favor and help me welcome my boy Keelan Rogers to Coach Williams University, the podcast. What's up, Keelan? You good, man?
Yes, sir. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm good, bro.
What's going on, CWU, Coach Williams University? My name is Keelan. I'm just want to thank Cordarius for just having me on this platform. We all just trying to go from hurting to healing. We all need somebody that we can talk to and, just be vulnerable with and, just try to heal our past traumas. So today, this is special, so I'm just thankful to be here, bro. Really, just thankful to be here.
Man, I'm glad you came, bro. So you're gonna be the first one at air, man. So, and it's fitting because you're a young gun, man. I always saw it in you, through your talk and how professional you were. Keelan cut my hair about 3 years ago, y'all, and I found him on Instagram when I moved back from Colorado. I found him on Instagram, looked up his content, looked up his cuts. I think he was about 19 or 20 at that time, man. And I looked at your cuts; it was professional. The first time I came, man, it was real clean. It was real dope. It was real swift. It was real cool. The one thing that I wasn't used to, though, was it taking an hour to get my hair cut.
I like to take my time,
Yeah.
It's some barbers out there that's quick. Some that just take, like me, I like to take my time. Like, I know some of my clients, they be sitting in the chair, they be sitting up like they butt be hurting.
Yeah.
I just like to take my time. Like, I don't like to rush. Like,
yeah.
I treat my barbering as like therapy for me, but my clients as well.
Yeah.
I just try to put my all into it. So it might take a little time, but my clients, I market to a certain type of client. Like, I noticed that all my clients, they be like, Keelan, I love that you take your time on my cuts. I go to this other barber and he just try to hurry up and get me out. So I ain't for everybody, but God gonna give you that favor for your ideal client. So. Yeah.
Man, that's dope. What I just heard you say is that, I struggle with that with my content, actually, making a one-size-fits-all content. But really, God gonna give me the people who are supposed to be on my content because I can't reach everybody. Yeah. And I think when we start businesses and when we do our thing, we always try to reach everybody. And we get discouraged when we don't reach everybody because we focusing on who we not reaching instead of focusing on who we are reaching. And so, man, with the hour cuts, man, I got accustomed to it real cool. Deuce, not so much. But
10 minutes in, he's like,
Yeah, he was like, but like you said, it's quality. And I could always tell you took your time, especially with my head. You know what I'm saying? You made sure that you would always cut my head like well, and it always looked great. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it's therapeutic. Because when I'm in a barber's chair, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I was even falling asleep. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, man. And it's I grew up. I ain't gonna call no names, but I grew up to the barber. He cut my hair like 10 minutes, bro, and be done. He cut my hair in like 10 minutes and be done, or whatever. And so, man, I'm super excited. I'm super excited to be recording this, y'all. And shout out to my son Deuce. My son Deuce working the camera right now, so I'll see me looking at him as he come and try to man his camera from time to time, or whatever. But let's jump in, man. So Keelan, do me a favor, bro. Tell me, let's tell the audience, tell the people about you, who you are, what you do, what's your story, bro.
Well, I'm a chill dude. I know everybody say that, but I'm really chill. Like, I got a routine. All I do is I go to the shop, I cut, I go to the gym, and I really just spend time with my girl, my future wife.
Yeah.
Shout out Bae, Nicole.
Yeah.
we working on, getting married and stuff. So, but yeah, I just spend time with my family. Like, I don't really like to go out and party and stuff. I'm really like a introverted person. I enjoy going out sometimes, but for the most part, I'd be chilling. Like, I just stick to my routine, take care of my business, just trying to grow my business. And yeah, just trying to grow physically, mentally, get closer to God. I believe in God. I'm a God-fearing man, and I just like to just chill. And where I'm at right now in my life is just trying to reprogram my mind, my mindset. I had a lot of trauma. I ain't gonna say it wasn't no bad trauma, like no physical abuse growing up and nothing like that, but really just emotional, we'll get into that, but really just trying to reprogram how I think so I can, become that person that I want to be in life. You only got one life, so you just gotta, change your thoughts. And I feel like that's why what you got going on, CWU, Coach Williams University, trying to help people go from hurting to healing, I feel like that resonates with me because that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Just trying to just change how I think, because what you think about is who you are.
Yeah.
Your thoughts become your reality, so you can't become this person that you want to be if you still thinking how you was in the past.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now.
Man, I think a lot of people, I said this, a lot of people try to move forward, but they keep going back. A lot of people try to move forward in their mind, but they keep going back to the same X. A lot of people try to move forward in their mind, but they keep going back to where they grew up from. I moved from Marshall. And when I moved from Marshall, I went to Denver, and then now I'm in the DFW area. I don't go to Marshall a lot anymore. And a lot of people ask me, why you don't go to Marshall anymore? Man, I think Jesus put it perfect in the Bible, man. He said a prophet is without honor in his hometown, meaning that a lot of people want the people in their hometown to like them. And I'm not saying nobody in my hometown don't like me. That ain't what I'm saying. I'm not saying ain't nobody rooting for me. What I'm saying is I'm bigger than Marshall. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people never really succeed, and they never really move forward in their journey because they're too busy staying in their culture, in their climate, where they are. And I think it's super important for us to even get away from our parents. And that's the hardest thing, is getting away from our parents, getting away from our family members, getting away from our friends in order to go achieve the lifestyle that we want. Because the truth is, bro, a lot of the times the lifestyle that we trying to get, most people we know don't got it and won't get it. And I think that's a harsh reality about transformation, bro, is that you want, when you heal and when you transform, you want people to do it with you. And you want the people who you love the most to do it with you. And the truth is, they ain't coming with you.
Yeah.
And so I think you set a bar right there, with what you just said. And another thing you said I want to dive into was the emotional trauma. And so if y'all don't know what trauma is a inwardly hurt. Kind of like if I broke my leg. If I broke my leg, that's a trauma. I would go to the doctor so he could heal it. Trauma emotionally is inwardly, and it makes you like a wounded animal in the woods. You know what I'm saying? It makes you guard yourself against people who not even a threat. You know what I mean? And so you got different kinds of trauma. You got emotional trauma, you got physical trauma, you got mental trauma, you got sexual abuse. You got different kinds of trauma that plagues us, man. I got about 3, 4, 5 of them, and all of them come from the people who were supposed to protect me. You know what I'm saying? So growing up in my 20s, Keelan, even when you start cutting my hair, I really didn't know who I was. And so I oftentimes reflect on what you say and what you saw and what you see in me. And it keeps me going, because when you were cutting my hair at that time, I was confused. I didn't know who I was, you know what I'm saying? And so I was still a 27-year-old trying to figure it out. I had started getting in them streets. I think I remember you cut my hair right before I went to Miami one time. You know what I'm saying? And man, I'm like, why on earth did I go to Miami, bro? That was the worst thing I could have ever did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know no better. You know what I'm saying? When we talking about trauma, talk to me a little bit more, like, looking back, what's one of the hardest things that you battled through that shaped who you are now?
Okay, so let me say this. Like, growing up, like, you met my parents.
Yeah.
Because I used to cut at my house. So my parents was always there. I had a loving family. Like, my parents, like, what you seen is not fraud. Like, they are really loving people. They was there for me every step of the way. Me and my brother, my younger brother, like they were very affectionate. Like everything, they was there. Like can't say nothing bad about them. Like they showed love. They was there every step of the way, and they were good parents. You know, they taught us discipline, how to be good people, men. They raised us good. I had a great family, so it was nothing like in my family. It was just like going to school. Like I always wanted to. I would get picked on a little bit, and that's where my emotional trauma stemmed from. Like, you know, people just talking about me. I may have been a little bit overweight. Like, Keelan, you fat.
Yeah.
Keelan, you. I just don't want to make it seem like I was just like this outlier. Like I was just everybody was out to get me. But you know, people. I come from like people gonna talk about you a little bit.
Yeah.
And you either gonna let it affect you, or just get over it. And for me, I let it affect me.
Yeah. So I like what you said right there, man. And I think you're not alone in that. A lot of people, a lot of adults, a lot of teenagers, they go to school and they get picked on and they get bullied. I was bullied for being a smart black person. It wasn't popular to be smart and black at my age. Ain't that crazy? It was popular to play football and not be in advanced classes. And my friends used to make fun of me for Googling stuff. They used to call me Mr. Google and a black nerd. And now they can call me Mr. ChatGPT. ChatGPT, my face. So I want you to speak more into that, bro. Speak more into like the emotional trauma of being talked about in school, like and like how to overcome it and stuff like that.
Okay, so with the emotional trauma and just like being bullied growing up, it really affected my self-image. I used to be confident in myself. You know, I remember this first instant, like my coach Williams. Coach Williams.
Ain't that crazy?
He was the PE teacher. I don't know, this is very unsafe. I don't know why he had us doing this. But we was in the auditorium and he had us running around the rows. It was real narrow. Just imagine 30 kids running around the auditorium on the aisles. He had us racing around, and we was racing, and whoever's the first one to make it back to him won. So I won. And then he was like, all right, everybody, we done. Everybody sit down. So I won. He was like, Keelan, go close that door for me. And then I guess I was happy because I won the race. So I skipped. I did a little skip to the door. And then when I skipped, I heard somebody say, he think he all that. And I was like, dang. I mean, it wasn't, like, looking back at it, it wasn't nothing crazy. But, like, that affected me. Like, a little child, that affected me. Like, oh, they didn't like me? So that's a little, you know, that scarred me a little bit. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't nothing crazy, but me, like 5 years old, that kind of like, oh, he didn't like me, so maybe I need to not do that. So
yeah, and so I think what you're talking to there is like the need to be liked.
The need to be liked, and that made me, you know, being bullied in school, that made me a people pleaser. It kind of dimmed me, made me become a inhibited personality. It I wasn't expressing myself fully, you know, to the most how I can, you know. To the highest ability. So just holding back my personality, it changed my self-image. Like I see myself in a certain way, and how I see myself, though it might not be true, when I come across somebody new, I just see how I see myself. I see that they probably see me that way as well, even though it might not even be true. So I'm projecting how I feel about myself onto them, even though it might not even be true.
Yeah.
So that just gonna hold you back way more, you know?
Yeah, man, I still got, hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. I still deal with that a little bit, you know, myself. And one thing that I do now is I listen, number one, I know who to listen to now. Because a lot of times people be listening to the wrong people. They be listening to the wrong people. They be doing the wrong stuff. And the people who they listening to aren't conducive on their journey from hurting to healing. That's why most people never heal. Because the person talking in their ear, the person who they listening to ain't got no sense. And so one thing that I do now, the opposite is true. So I listen to the right people, And even when you talk to me, and even when you talk about me, and when you tell me how much that I've helped you, I believe it. I don't second guess it. Like normally I be second guessing stuff. I don't second guess it. If you say it, I believe it because I know what you say is true. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, they automatically gaslight themselves. They put everything on them. You know what I'm saying? They make themselves, especially when you hurting, we make ourselves the problem.
Yeah.
And I think when we're hurting and when we've been through trauma, oh, thank you, Holy Spirit. This is about to be good. I was talking to somebody the other day, somebody who had been sexually abused. I say SA from now on. So I was talking to somebody who had been SA'd, and they thought that them being SA'd was their fault. And they say, it's my fault. I say, how is it your fault? That is a sick individual who had been hurt. And I got a philosophy that I say, hurt people, hurt people. That's why I had to heal, bro. And so they thought that, and even me, for the longest, I'm a victim of SA. And for the longest, I thought I grew up as a homosexual because of my SA. In my mind, I always would think that I was that because of what happened to me. And I would gaslight myself. And I would say, well, it's my fault. And I didn't tell my mama for 20 years. I didn't tell anybody for 20 years. And I kept it deep inside. And I thought that everything was my fault, bro. Until I healed. When I healed, I learned to start listening to what people tell me who I am. Because I was hurting, I thought of myself from a hurt perspective. But when I healed, I can see myself for who I am and for who I'm becoming. And I think that's really central, you know what I mean?
For sure. I can resonate with that. Like I say, just projecting how I feel about myself and, you know, my insecurities. And when you say you listen to other people and to tell you who you are, I can relate to that. But in my case, like I think I shouldn't have really listened to people because, you know, when they was talking to me or talking about me, that, you know, that scarred me. So I was like, okay, I'm just this fat nonsense guy. Like I don't have any value. So I walked around like that. You know, I had friends, but I was always just, you know, just timid and shy, and I wasn't expressing myself to the best that I can, and that led me to, you know, having resentment. Like I always go back to the past, think back, like, man, I should have did this in the past. Like I wish I would have did that in that situation, you know. So yeah, just I'm glad. That's why I feel like I'm just glad to be here because like the movement that you have is just healing people. And teaching them how to heal is just the path that we need to be on. Everybody has trauma, and you just have to. I didn't even know it was possible for you to heal. You know, I knew what mental health. I heard what mental health was, but I didn't know that it was a process that you had to actually go through to, you know, heal your past traumas.
You know, that's a bar, and I can relate to that because when I first met you, you didn't talk much. You know what I'm saying? I'm just now like trying to, you know, reprogram my mindset. Like I'm still quiet. I feel like that's a part of who I am. Like I even like after I heal, like fully heal myself, I don't feel like is it a fully healed person? I don't think it's a fully healed person. I feel like you're gonna always. It's continuous.
Yes, it's not a ending process. It's not a end goal, but I feel like it's a continuous thing. But I feel like me, I'm always gonna be like a kind of a reserved, quiet person, but I'm opening up now, and I'm more confident, and I accept myself. I don't have to worry about what other people think because I know I can't control it, and I feel like that's something that I've been worried. Something that I've been worrying about. You know, just worrying about what other people think of me, what they say, how they, you know, interpret everything that I do. You know, it just made me an overthinker, and that's just made those past traumas just made me into that person, and I don't have to be that way. I don't have to live my life that way.
So what do you think was the transforming part for you? Like when did it? Because you're only 23. You got your future is so bright, bro. You're gonna cut. I'm gonna speak life over you. All right, you're gonna cut hair for some very famous people, and you're gonna make good dollar doing it. Yeah. You still got your whole listen. I started this journey, bro, at like 26, 27. And it was continuous. I moved to Denver at about 24, 25. That's really when it started for me. I started to treat my family different. I started to be more irritated at Deuce. I started to become more frustrated at Chandra easily. And I was like, God, what is wrong with me? Why do I treat the people that I love the most like this? So God told me to move to Denver, a mental health city. Colorado is one of the mental health leaders, out of all of the states. And I got in intense therapy weekly. Shout out to Jasmine. I was in intense therapy weekly, bro. And I continuously healed, man. And that was a bit of my journey. You're 23. You're starting it. You've already started it. So I say all of that to say that you're already miles ahead of me, And when I tell people that, they be like, man, no, I'm 30, bro. I'm 30, 30, 3 kids, married for 10 years. Shout out to my family. But you starting it now, you're going to be miles ahead of me. So you're going to cut hair for a lot of famous people. You said something earlier about wealth and cutting. You're going to be wealthy with cutting only. You're going to charge top dollar for your stuff. That's coming because you already are started. And you said you believe in God and you're going to do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have kids the right way. You're going to serve God the right way because that's the best way. You just got to trust me with that one.
For sure.
That's the best way is in God's will. So my question is, at what point in your young life did it click to transform and shift like that?
Well, to be honest, it's recently. Like, I moved out of my parents' house like last year, literally around this time, like April last year, and that was really like a shift in my life. Like, I'm moving out, so I'm on my own. I know how to take care of my responsibilities, but being on your own, it just kind of made me realize that you gotta man up. I want to take care of my family. I want to take care of my parents, and you gotta get out there and create content. I feel like that's one thing that I have at my fingertips as a barber. I'm blessed that God made me become a barber because I'm able to create videos and express myself through those videos. But I realize that I can't express myself if I'm hurting on the inside. I'm inhibited. My personality, I can't give it how I want to if I'm worrying about how people think about me, Yeah. So I know I had to, change how I think, get closer to God and realize that He loves me, how I am. I don't have to, accustom myself to how the world view me. Just realize that that's God loves me.
Bro, that's so good.
Just really getting closer to God. Like I always, growing up, my that's granny, good. We lived with my granny growing up. So we was always in church, but, I didn't really like hear everything because I was young and I was there to get the cookies and, the crackers and the grape juice for communion. That's all.
As tart as it may be.
Yeah.
That thing was tart, man. I think you're painting a picture, bro. And I want to stop because you've said it twice. You are painting a picture of that transformation is from the inside out.
Yeah.
You done said it a few times.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta have all the Jordans, all the designer. But that's not, you still got a image of yourself on the inside. Like, I can have all that. I'm thinking I gotta have the newest car so people can like me. But I be thinking to myself, if I get that right now, I'm still gonna feel a certain type of way on the inside. I'm still gonna be looking for validation from other people, and I'm still needing external validation from other people, and that's not a good way to live your life.
Right.
I want to feel good about myself no matter how people look at me, no matter how people view me. Right. So to answer your question, I know it took a long time to answer that, but
it's all good.
What started this transformation of me wanting to become and change my mindset was just moving out and realizing that to express myself, I have to change how I look at myself. No matter what anybody told me in the past, just realizing that God loves me how I am, and I just had to accept myself. Man. I gotta to become a better person, I have to change how I think, because the way that I've been thinking these last 23 years, 22 years, it ain't working. Yeah. So you got to change something.
Man.
You can't expect different results if you doing the same thing.
And what I hear you saying too, and you have great parents. Yeah, I met both of them. And a lot of us are not as blessed to have or have had loving parents. Man, your mom loved do so much, and that she probably mad that she ain't seen them in a while. When you tell her that you seen them, she probably gonna get mad. You know what I'm saying? She had hit me up on Facebook on one of my comments. She was like, "You gotta bring your daughter over here." I said, "I ain't driving over there." I said, "I don't got time. I don't know when." But in due time, you're talking about something that I want to pull out right there, and that's called identity. And a lot of people don't transform from hurting to healing because their identity is still in their parents. Not saying that everybody has to move out of the house, you know what I'm saying? But growing up, especially in the black community, our identity is in a lot of our identity is in our parents. Here's what I mean. My parents did it this way, so this is the way that I do it. And that's false. Why do you think mental health is so prevalent now? It's so prevalent now is because growing up for a lot of people, parenting wasn't done right. Because a lot of the hurt comes from inside that house. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my hurt came right there underneath my roof. And for me, getting my identity number one in God and then moving out of Marshall to Denver, that gave me my identity, man. And it's like you said earlier, healing is always continuous. It's continuous, right? It's continuous. It's always a part of you that you have to heal. And right now, the part that I'm healing is my identity, who I am, who God has created me to be. My voice that people used to make fun of. My teeth that people used to make fun of. You know what I'm saying? We good, buddy? Already. Y'all show some love to Deuce. My guy's on it. My teeth that people used to make fun of. My ears. How black I am. You know what I'm saying? All of those things I used to get made fun of. And so I still have a little insecurity about some of those things. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit. But identity is important. And I think, thank you, Holy Spirit. Here come a bar. When you're hurting, when you're in the thick of hurting, you have to have an identity of a healed person. Does that make sense? Like you can't think like a hurt person. You have to think like a healed person.
Yeah, you got to use your imagination.
Yeah.
Which, like you said, what you think about is who you are. And sometimes you got to think outside the box. Like, just because what you're going through right now isn't the end all be all. You have to, picture where you want to be and picture yourself as that person, And one thing I've been doing on this process is from hurting to healing is, first just getting closer to God, just, listening to books. That's what I always do. Like while I'm cutting, I got my headphones on. I talk to my clients. I still, connect with my clients and things of that nature. But I be listening to a lot of audiobooks.
For real?
Yeah, I listen to
That's next level, bro.
Yeah.
I
listen to music. I love listening to music. I'm trying to get away from all this rap stuff, but
man, it's crazy that you say that, bro.
I don't look at it
next level.
I don't look at it rap music the same. I love it because my dad, he has a independent radio station, so he, is there for like all the independent artists coming up and stuff. So he's big on that. He has his own online radio station. So I always grew up listening to music. So I love music. So like when I'm cutting hair, I love to listen to music. But lately, on this journey, I've just been trying to like listen to the audiobooks, self-help audiobooks that are, just change how I think. So that's why when I be seeing your episodes of your podcast and stuff, it just resonate with me because this is where I'm at in life. You know what I'm saying? I know the life and the person that I'm trying to become as a healed person, a person that can express himself without worrying about how other people think of him. A person that just, is confident, and no matter what, I don't have to be the richest man. I don't have to look the best. I don't have to, walking around with, all the watches and the chains. Like, that's what the world wants. I can still want that, but I don't need it. I don't have to have that to be accepted. Or I don't have to be accepted at all. As long as God loves me, that's all I need.
Man, those are bars, bro.
And I ain't just trying to say this just to sound like a guru or nothing like that, but it's just like something that I'm just trying to,
The process, it's a thought process, bro.
Because like I say, like growing up and being talked about, it's just like all of those things. I remember everything. Like I remember what that girl said or what that dude said. I remember that, and that just programmed me to be this certain type of person. And like I say, once you hear all these certain things that's said about you, you start to see yourself a certain way. And then once you come across other people, you see them or you project that onto them, and you see yourself and you walk around like you are that person that you see yourself as. Like I say, even though it might not be true,
Man,
and that affects how you express yourself.
you got 3 gates, bro. You got 3 gates to your body. 2 gates are things that let stuff in. 1 gate is what lets something out. Your eyes, what you see. Your ears, what you hear. Your mouth, what you say. All right? What you're saying is that in order to transform from hurting to healing, it's super important for you to control what you hear and what you see. And what we already said is we got to control what we say. You know what I'm saying? You said that you stopped listening to the rap. Dive a little bit more into that. Like, tell me, like, why? Because I get it, but tell me why. Because a lot of people think that what they hear that don't affect them.
Yeah. I ain't gonna sit up here and lie and say I don't listen to it, because I still do.
Oh, I love me some Glorilla.
No, for real. I still listen to rap music, but I changed the way how I view it. Like,
Yeah.
like I listen to it. Like back then, I listened to it, and you know they talk about all type of stuff, just hurting people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having sex, all type of stuff. You know, with women, and I need a rollie on my wrist and all that type of stuff. So that make you fantasize about having and doing all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I know I'm not that type of person to go out there and hurt somebody. Like listening to that, it made me think, oh, should I do that? Would I do that?
Yeah, yeah.
So
it made me violent inside.
Yes.
Like it made me like violent. Like,
and I know I'm not that type of person.
Yeah.
I didn't even grow up like that. So
Yeah.
that'd be cap for me to even that'd be capping to be even thinking I'd go out and try to be somebody that I'm not. So listening to that, I still listen to it, but like I changed the way. Like I'll listen to a song and he could say the most violent thing, but I know I'm gonna still treat others with love, because you know that's how I'm supposed to treat others, how I want to be treated. I know God wants you to love other people and, you know, give mercy to other people, forgive other people. He says you can't expect forgiveness if you can't forgive other people. You can't forgive. What did he say?
you said it.
Yeah, I can't forgive you of your trespasses if you can't forgive others.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, just like I don't want to get on here and seem like I'm just the perfect guy, but you know, I can listen to music and change how I think. You know, back then I used to, you know, listen to it and contemplate on doing the things that I hear in it. But I'm like, now that I listen to it, it's like I just changed the way. Like I know I ain't gonna just go out here and treat women like how they talking about in these songs. And go out and hurting people and shooting people and talking about all the type of stuff that they talk about. You know, I can listen to it in the gym and stuff just to fuel me while I'm working out or something like that. But I ain't just, you know, making it. It's not gonna make me go out and do the things that they're talking about.
Man, you done said something else too, man. That's so good. You dropping a lot of dimes right there. We got to remember to tell the people where to follow you too, man. But healing is intentional, and it has nothing to do with perfection. You know, I think people think that you got to be perfect to move to keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? But healing, man, ain't nobody perfect. And I think that forgiveness, I sat over the sink. I ain't never said this. Besides, nobody noticed. It's about to change in a couple weeks. But I sat over my sink crying about a month ago. Chandra came in, said some words to me. You know what I'm saying? We're going through a tough time or whatever. Financially, we good. God provides, you know what I'm saying? But we've been on one income since last May. You know, and we got, you know, and teachers don't get paid a lot, bro. Hadn't got no eviction notice. Hadn't got no repo notice. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of behind bills. But the main one's paid. And, you know, that takes its toll. You know what I'm saying? And to be in the thick of it, it takes its toll. You know, but I was over the sink, man, just crying like, God, what's up, man? Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? And talking with Chandra. And I told her something, bro. And it freed me. I said, Chandra, I really hadn't forgiven myself. I hadn't forgiven myself. I said I hadn't forgiven myself for almost destroying my family. I haven't forgiven myself for some of the things that I've said. You know what I'm saying? I never went out there and slept with another woman or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But, emotionally, if I'm being transparent, you know what I'm saying? I did tiptoe on some lines that I shouldn't have been tiptoeing on. You know what I'm saying? We good, buddy? Already. And I'm sitting there at that sink crying, man, and I done forgave everybody. Mm-hmm. I done forgave my abuser. I done forgave my abusers. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I have forgiven a lot of people. But the one person who I didn't forgive was myself. And so when you talk about forgive others as I forgive you, that's what Jesus said. I think it's important to, on this journey from hurting to healing, I think it's important for us to forgive ourselves for what we went through, whatever that means to you. I think it's super important for you to let it go for the mistakes that you've done. It's not about perfection. Mm-hmm. Failure, when you mess up, failure is not a loss. Failure is a lesson.
That's what I had to learn. Like, since people used to talk about me and that affected my mental state so much, mm-hmm. I always, like I said, I always saw myself as a certain person, and I always kind of used to have hate towards the people that, why they say this to me? Mm-hmm. Why would they do that? Mm-hmm. So where I'm at right now is just, letting that stuff go, because you can't heal yourself if you still having hate towards others, and you still hating them. So I'm like, man,
that's good.
You got to forgive them people and just let it act like it never happened.
That is good.
You got to forgive them, because like you say, God can't forgive us if we still holding on to hate for other people that did us wrong.
And we can't heal if we still hanging on to that hate. Mm-hmm. Because we're
gonna still have that in our heart.
Yeah.
How you gonna be a healed person and you still holding grudges?
Yeah.
So I know, like I say, I'm not perfect. So like I say, I'm not perfect. I'm not this perfect guy. So I know I make mistakes. So just forgive them. It might have hurt you, but we strong. And when I be praying, I'll be like, God, I just pray that you just help me become a stronger person, physically, mentally. I'll be in the gym, so I'll be working out and stuff. Like, I'll be telling myself, how you lift 100 pounds, you can, bench and squat and all that, but you weak mentally. Like I'm weak mentally, bro.
You got to work out your brain.
I used to be weak mentally, but
yeah,
I'm becoming stronger. So
that's a bar, and you work out your brain by listening to your podcast,
changing the way I think.
Yeah,
getting closer to God, listening to podcasts. Becoming closer with people that's gonna change the way you think, which is you. That's why I'm just thankful to be on this platform, because you just helping. It resonates with what I'm going through in life. So like I say, just change the resources that you go to. If you feel like that you need to heal, stop looking at what everybody else doing. Stop getting on Instagram, comparing yourself to other people. And just just try to become a better person. Listen to books. I know we saying a lot of books. I'm gonna give you some books that I've listened to personally.
Yeah. And
you can drop them in the comments or put them in the description. And just that's all I really do. Just
man. Speaking of books, like I got some exciting news. If you don't know, I'm an author, and I have officially, as of like 2.5-3 weeks ago, bro, I officially put my deposit down on my book, man.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, the book is called From Hurting to Healing, an offensive playbook on healing from trauma. Yeah. And the idea behind it is an offensive playbook. Healing is not passive. Healing is active. You got to go get it. You got to go score. And we have so many things defending. We have so many things trying to stop us from being successful. And we have to have the proper playbook to go get it. And so I walked my readers through that playbook. And man, fingers crossed, man. I'm not gonna say the release date yet. You know what I'm saying, man. And so if you're listening to this pod, and if you don't, let's say you don't have a platform, let's say you don't have the means, let's say you don't want to talk to people, all right? If you would like to sponsor this podcast, just DM us, let us know. If you would like to put resources behind what it is that I'm doing, let me know. Because this book, when it releases, bro, it's not about a book. It's not about a legacy. It's not about a podcast. It's not about a book. It's not about a podcast, rather. It's about a legacy is what I'm trying to say. But even when I look here at my son, where I stop is where he start. This book ain't about, this book is not about fame for me. It's personal, Keelan.
Mm-hmm.
It's personal because I know he gonna walk in my shadows. Him taking care of this camera is much deeper than him taking care of this camera.
He's gonna remember this.
He gonna remember this for forever. You know? And so even having you here, bro, I'm very intentional with who I pour into. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very intentional of even who I talk to, because not everybody has an open heart to hear. And so if you're a sponsor, like I was saying, and want to donate and want to get behind something, let me know, because it's for a good cause. It's all for the next generation. And healing is not a game, y'all. Your life depends on it. Your kids depend on it. The quality of your life. Jesus says in his prayer, man, we'll get ready to wrap up. Jesus says in his prayer, in his prayer, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. People don't realize that their earthly lives can be like a heavenly life. Mm-hmm. You can have heaven on earth. A lot of people don't have heaven on earth. They have hell on earth. And they have hell on earth because of sin. They have, and trauma, afflicted trauma is sin. People who abuse people physically, mentally, verbally, emotionally, it's all sin. Because we need to love. That's what if everybody just loved, we good. But hurt people hurt people. And so it's very important for us to actively push through this so we can get heaven on earth. That's what it's about for me. Doing it the right way. I don't sin much. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, I'm not perfect. That's why I need Jesus' blood. But God is my friend. That's the level I'm on now. Mm-hmm. Not only is he my father, God is my friend, bro. Mm-hmm. And since he's my friend, man, I don't fear him. The Bible says fear God. Yes, it does. You should fear what your life is without him. I'm not scared of him.
Yeah. I always wonder what that meant when a person say, I fear God. Like, so fearing without, life would be without him.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can't sin, bro. Yeah. So the more I sin less, the closer I get to God. The closer I get to God, the more heaven on earth that I have. And the more heaven on earth that I have, the better that boy life is. The better his life is, the better my grandson's life is. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying? I gotta heal for my great grandson, bro.
Because like you say, the further you go or where you stop is where he begins. So you got to keep going so he can have a head start. I know he got his own life, but
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's gonna see what he's gonna go through what you've been through because it's passed down.
It's and the blessing's gonna be passed down. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I applaud you at 23 for what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And the Bible says don't despise humble beginnings, small beginnings. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't like to start off small, but I applaud you for where you are in your mindset, bro. You listening to audiobooks. You listening to these things. You're doing what it takes to heal. You're doing what it takes to work out your brain. Most people are too lazy, bro. Most people, I don't like that, man. Hey, you got to find your cup of tea, like we talked about earlier. To heal, you got to find the voice that you attach to. And when you find that voice, you just rock with it. You know what I'm saying? You rock with it and you keep pushing because it's bigger than me. It's everybody who I come in connection with, bro. Mm-hmm. And so, y'all, we're about to get ready to wrap this thing up. So, Keelan, you got any lasting thoughts? Even any questions for me? Any lasting thoughts? Anything before we wrap this thing up?
Well, I just want to give the audience a takeaway. I know we talked about our traumas and things of that nature, but I just want them to know what they can do to work on what they've on how they can work on that process of healing. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I work on my body. I know the appearance has nothing to do with your value or how God sees you, but if you want to be confident in who you are, and you're insecure, like I used to be insecure how I looked. So I feel like that helps me become more confident in myself. Mm-hmm. So, if you're feeling insecure, then just, go to the gym, work out. You don't have to go to the gym. You can just work out at home, work out your physical. Mm-hmm. But also the mindset, I feel like that's bigger than the physical, though. Listening to audiobooks, listening to people that's where you want to be in life, or not always where you want to be, but where you are mentally headed in the same direction where you want to be. Listening to audiobooks has helped me a lot. I'm gonna give Coach Williams some books that I've been listening to that has helped me a lot, and helped me get out my comfort zone and just not caring about what other people think and being comfortable in my skin. That's a big thing right there. Just accepting yourself for who you are. You're not perfect. I was listening to this book, and it says like we're all cracked pots, but it's good we're cracked pots because we all have a light inside of that pot, and the world wouldn't be able to see our light inside the pot if it wasn't cracked, because the pot is us and we're imperfect, which is the crack. But the light that shines outside or through that pot is able or shown into the world because it's imperfect. If it was closed and the pot was all perfect and it wouldn't have any cracks in it, so that light wouldn't shine through. So that kind of resonated with me. Like, I know I'm not perfect, but God shines His light through me, through my imperfections. So just accepting that you're not perfect, but you don't have to be perfect to be the best person that you can be. You don't have to be perfect to be loved by the people that God wants you to be loved by, and just being the person that you want to be. You don't have to be perfect, and I just had to accept that. Listening to audiobooks, working on myself physically, mentally, trying to change how I think. That's the journey I'm on right now. So that's all I really just do. Just try to surround myself with the people that I need to be surrounded with, my family, the people that love me and care about me. If you don't want to see me or we ain't on the same time, you just we kind of distant. I surround myself with the right people. So,
man, that's good. Cracked pots.
Cracked pots.
I think that's the name of this podcast. Cracked pots. Maybe.
Or $1 or $100 bill. If somebody held up $100 bill and you stumped on it, drug it through the mud, would you still want it? All you got to do is wash it off. That's all we are. We're just a $100 bill. We done been drugged through the mud. You might tear it up a little bit, put some tape back on it. You can still use it. So I look at it like that. Like,
wow.
I'm a crack pot. I'm a $100 bill that been drugged through the mud. I'm not what I've experienced. What I've been through doesn't make me who I am.
Because your identity is in God.
That's it.
And no matter what damage you go through, you still got this serial number that God gave you that makes you have value. That's good, bro. That's real good, man. Listen, you have dropped a lot of dimes, man. I would like to personally thank you for coming on, man. A lot of people will be saved by the dimes that you drop. You wise beyond your years, man. Y'all, thank you for tuning in. Y'all, I love you. If you haven't heard nobody tell you this, y'all, I love you. Y'all, I'm your fearless leader, Coach Williams. This is Keelan. Keelan, tell them where you can they can follow you at, bro.
I'm on Instagram, official_Keelan. I post a lot of haircut videos, but right now I'm just trying to, expand and, show myself, my personality. So y'all gonna be seeing a lot more of that. This is just the beginning. I'm thankful for Coach Williams having me on here. Just this is the first step. This the first episode. So I'm just thankful for you having me on here. Allowing me to be vulnerable and just help the audience, man. Yeah. I just want to let y'all know it's possible. Like, growing up, like I said, the trauma that I've been through, it just made me become or see myself as it made me an overthinker, and it made me think that I can't do a lot of things where I know I can do it. So I just want to let y'all know that you just got to heal yourself, and we're going to give y'all the things that you need to work on and heal to become that better person. And it's possible. And I just want to let y'all know, personally, I know it's possible because I'm doing it right now.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate your time, bro. I really do, man. So, y'all, I appreciate you guys. If you ain't heard it in a while, I love you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Coach Williams University, the podcast. And remember, if you feel like a cracked pot, that light that shines in you is for the world to see. If you feel like a dirty dollar bill that's been damaged, you still have great value in God. Listen, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this with somebody. Y'all, we love you. Until next time, I'll see you soon. See y'all later.